Welcome, everybody, to Casting for Two, the podcast with your host, Chris. I am the guy who I just spoke of. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 145. As always, I'd like to thank you for listening and for checking out the show. And if you're a new listener, welcome. If you're an old listener, hi, hello. Before I get into my guest for today, I think I should talk about my GoFundMe again. You can always donate to my short film that I hope to shoot here in the next couple of months. And the link is in the description below. And always, if you want to join 5-4 Club, you can do that, get your first month for like a discount. I don't know how much okay, look, I don't want to say how much it is because it might change every week. So right now it's a good price, okay, for your first month. So go do that. And and of course, Casting for Two is on Instagram and Twitter, both at Casting for Two. I think I should get into my guest for today. Yeah. So this one's a little bit special. It's a special episode because my guest today is Alejandra O'Leary. And today marks exactly 1 year since she was last on the show. That's why it's a special episode. And I was excited. Well, I saw that and I got excited. I said, I have to put this out on the exact 1 year mark. So that's what I did. But Alejandra is always great to chat with, and her new album is so good. I recommend people pick up All I Know on September 9th. I'm sure I'll tweet it out on when the day comes closer, because that's close to my birthday. But you know what? Let's get into this episode. So sit back, relax, and Chris, cue the music, please.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well, and yourself?
Going great, thanks.
Yeah, sorry about that. My mic XLR input or cord just fell out randomly.
No problem. It happens.
Yeah, how's your day going so far?
It's good. I'm a little sleepy because I have a new baby and probably got like 4 hours of sleep last night, like not in a row,
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit in a daze, but otherwise very good, very happy.
It's funny because I have friends. I'm at that age where all my friends are now starting to have kids.
Yep.
And I've been I don't have a kid, but I've taken care of my niece and nephew pretty much, their whole lives from baby to, like now where they are. And I totally get, the no sleep, the like, hey, do you want to do anything tonight? Like, oh, I have a baby, so I kind of want to see if I can get sleep.
Yeah, it's really quite a shift. It's a paradigm shift. Yeah, that's cool that you understand because I don't think I understood before.
I totally, and then, my friends will tell me like, oh my gosh, this happened. I go, yeah, I mean, that's what happens with babies.
You can't have a plan. You have to just you have to be really into improvising,
Oh yeah. Because babies, and this listeners at home, babies don't like following plans.
Yeah, they're not aware that there's a plan in place. You gotta really go with them. You gotta really just be in the moment with them.
Yeah. And so before you had a kid, what was your sleep pattern like? Are you a heavy sleeper?
Oh, I was a total night owl. I would stay up all night playing guitar and writing in my notebook and And, if I only got 6 hours of sleep, I'd be like, oh, that sucks, 6 hours. And now if I get 6 hours, it's like glorious. I feel like superhuman if I get 6 hours now.
Right.
And so it's been a big shift. But, I think the key to managing it for me has been, and I think for a lot of people has been, you just have to stop resisting it. You have to stop being like, why can't, you have to stop being like, why can't it be like it was before? Like, why aren't I
Right.
sleeping 8 hours in a row? Like, it's, as long as you don't resist it and you just accept that it's going to be like kind of like you know, an unpredictable ride, then you can enjoy the ride more if you just accept what it is, I think.
Right. Right. Exactly. Having a kid um changes everything. And I'm not saying like the life that back when before you had a kid is gone, but I mean,
It's totally different. I
yeah.
mean, yeah. And I don't think, even though I knew that, I think everyone conceptually knows that going in, you really can't, until it happens, you don't understand the depths of it. Like I definitely did not understand. I was like, oh yeah, my life will change, but that's cool. I'm ready. But like it's always going to surprise you. You can't really be ready for something, births and deaths, even if you know they're coming, it doesn't make it any less of a upheaval
Right.
when it
Exactly.
happens.
Exactly. And I remember I was talking to my buddy, and his kid was probably a couple months old by when I asked him this question. I go, "Do you ever just hold your kid and just say, "Oh my gosh, I am responsible for this person. I can, everything I do will shape his life." And he goes, "No, why'd you tell me that?" I was like, "Sorry." That's what goes through my head. Like, oh my, if I say one wrong thing, it's gonna, ripple effect, and it's gonna affect his life. But it's probably not that bad.
Yeah, I think that's another thing I had to learn. Is I think they're tougher than we think.
Right.
I definitely had a lot of that early on. Like, oh, like if I did something he didn't like, I'd be like, oh my God, I've ruined everything. But I think they're tough little creatures. That they're not so fragile.
Right.
They can handle a tough moment.
Yeah, yeah. They just like to play with you. They're babies all just mess with you.
Sometimes it definitely feels that way.
Yeah. Why are you crying? Because I can.
Yeah. I read something that was saying like babies don't have jobs, they don't have artistic
Mm-mm.
expression.
Mm-mm.
So sometimes maybe the crying is just it's like what that kind of energy that we would put it into relationships or pursuits, or hobbies or passions, but babies don't have access to that world. So sometimes they just need to let it rip, and it
E-
might not have anything to do with anything.
Exactly. Exactly. And who knows? Your baby might be singing. It's like, you know what?
Yeah,
I hear the big lady sing. Maybe I can do it.
yeah, I'm down with that.
And so what else has been going on in your life?
That's the big thing.
That's the big thing. Yeah.
I've moved to my hometown. I've relocated to Portland, Maine,
Oh
which
yeah.
is
Okay.
where I grew up, and I've started a new band here. So that's just getting off the ground. So that's exciting for me. Oh, there's my babe.
Yep.
He's with his aunt. I can hold him. You want to hold him? Yeah, sure. Are you a little grumpy? Okay. I think we're good now. I think we're good. Say hi, Tom.
Hi.
Yeah, I'll just hold him in my lap while we talk.
That's cool.
So, I moved here last summer from North Carolina,
Hmm.
and I'm trying to do a new music project here. And so I like to move around. I like to live in different places in the country and different places in the world. And I like to have a band and make a record every place I live. So just getting that going here.
Right on. And so when do you have time to do All I Know?
Oh, All I Know was recorded in North Carolina, the last place I lived.
Hmm.
And so that was um, for like a year, that was like what I was working on every weekend, pretty much.
Yeah.
Um, and that was, that's the last time I had time to really put into an album to that, in that hardcore way. I'm hoping to get that back at some point in my life.
Right.
But things are moving slower right now with the baby. But all I know was recorded. We would just. It was kind of an interesting process. I landed in North Carolina. I knew we weren't going to be there a long time. I knew I wanted to make a record, and so I kind of think of it as like my pop-up record. Like a pop-up restaurant.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have a. It was the first time I'd ever done a recording project without a band that was like my band that I was touring with and playing with regularly. So I would just kind of show up at the studio with the song, and we just me and the two guys who worked at the studio, we would just kind of do the song that day and kind of arrange it together and play it together, do a couple takes, do some overdubs and call it a day. It was like a very improvised live kind of record, which was a really fun way to work and a way to work that I think I want to carry into the future. Um, it was almost, I just had to get rid of all my hangups and just go in and say, we're just going to make up this song today in the studio. I have some words, I have some chords, and we're just going to see what we get.
Yeah. And the album is really great. I really enjoyed it.
I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you.
The song that I was like hooked and sold on was oh no, which one was it? I was looking. Oh, I thought I wrote it down. All I know. Yeah, the main
cool.
song. I was just, oh my gosh, like I'm in. Let's do
Oh,
this.
sweet.
Um,
Yeah, I like that one too.
what is on the record? Is there a song that took longer for you to either write or get up to your standards?
The one that took the longest, they were all very fast, to be honest. Like this, what characterizes this record to me is how fast we did it and um, how off the cuff it was. But one that took a while, let's see, Lighthouse,
Mm.
the third song. That's kind of like our wall of sound song.
Mm-hmm.
So there's at least what's cool about that song is there's a lot going on that like the listener might not consciously hear, but is in there, and hopefully people hear it at a subconscious level. So like there's like 5 of me singing stacked backing harmonies, and it's pretty deep in the mix, so you can't necessarily hear it. It's more like a vibe than like a musical idea that's out front.
Uh-huh.
But there's lots of stacked harmonies. There's a chorus of all me's singing, and there's lots of guitars, and that's the one with the most layers. That's the one we spent the most time trying to create this epic operatic rock statement.
Mm-hmm. And then if you play it backwards, it says Paul is dead.
Exactly. And exactly. There's some Beatles song that has a dog whistle on it.
Ah, really?
I think it's the end of Sergeant Pepper, like at the very end of A Day in the Life. But anyway, I guess that's what I mean about like something you only are subconsciously aware of, but it's definitely there in the song.
There you go. There you go. And so what was oh man, I'm having a really bad brain fart.
Don't worry.
I just brain farted so hard.
You're talking to the 4 hours of sleep person here.
That's true. That's true.
I understand. Don't worry.
You know what? Actually, I got 4 hours of sleep as well. Now that I think about it.
That'll do it.
But it was just for my own reasons. But that's okay. I didn't have a kid to take care of.
Well, hey, we all have our reasons.
And so what was there a song that was more, I'm going to say a word that doesn't exist, but it should, was funner for you to write or perform, where you were just, I'm looking forward to playing this song?
Yeah. The song that, there are 2. Okay, the first one is Dream Life.
Mm-hmm.
Because that song, as soon as we started playing it, we just started having a great time and experimenting with every single instrument that was lying around the studio.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't come in with this idea, but by the end of the day, there was Indian drums on there was guitar on there was farfisa on there, all these crazy instruments. And so making that one was just pure joy.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to like dig into the studio closets and find some new weird instrument to put on it. But I don't think the song sounds like weird or anything. I think all the elements we have on it belong there. So that was really fun to make. The bridge of that song is just like this total like Indian drums freak out. And I've never played with those instruments before, so that was really fun. The other really fun one was the first track, Doubtless.
Oh yeah.
Which was just we made a little noise collage at the end of it, and that was great fun to do, like playing with guitars and playing with feedback and trying to make an emotional statement with just guitars and feedback and trying to make like something that sounded like a emotional storm just with the instruments. That was really fun.
Right on. And so you said you like to move around. Do you have, I mean, I'm not saying you have a next place in mind, but is there some place you would like to go and maybe do another pop-up album?
Yeah, I want to go to a part of the country I've never been before. So like I've lived in the Midwest, I've lived in the South, I've lived in the Northeast. So I think next would be the West.
Okay.
I think next would be like Montana or the Southwest, maybe New Mexico. I don't know what the music scenes are like in those places, but you can always find your people, you know, if you look. If your number one goal, if you move to a place and your number one goal is to find your people and like do your thing, I think you can always make it happen, even if it's a slow going process.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go to like a big hip city. You can go somewhere totally random and find your people, I think.
Right. Well, it's funny because all the hip cities will be just transplants of people. And then when you go to the smaller cities, that's where you find, you know, the real blood of the state. Yeah. So I remember, because when I lived in Salem, I feel like everyone there was from Salem. And it was always nice to me. And then we go up to Portland, which is, you know, the hip. Everyone thinks Portland is the state capital, which it is not. And you'd have nothing but, you know, people from other places, which is still nice. But, you know, it's like, well, it's not really the Oregon experience.
Yeah, I totally feel what you're saying.
But, yeah, you should head on over to Seattle or someplace like that.
Yeah, I've never been in that part of the country.
Seattle is very nice. I remember just being a little freaked out just because it was a bigger city and I wasn't used to it.
Sure.
But I would totally go there now.
That's cool. What's the difference between Portland and Seattle, like culturally?
You know, nowadays, I think they're pretty similar.
Okay.
In all honesty, they both. I feel like you'll get more of the snobby tech guy up in Seattle because Seattle, you know, there's a lot of startup businesses. I mean, even Microsoft is based there.
Yep.
So that's the only thing I might be like, ooh. But I know so many people in Portland. Everybody's just super cool and chill. So.
Okay, so Portland's a little more laid back.
Yeah, and you know, no sales tax, so that's always nice.
Oh, there's that. That's
right. So everyone moved to Oregon where there's no sales tax.
This has been a public service announcement.
Yes.
State of Oregon.
Yes. And I have kind of a little behind the scenes question for you.
Sure.
How do you pick a release date for your album?
Oh, well, I try to pick a release date that's like the turn of a season, you know?
Okay.
A lot of, you know, when a new season comes and everyone's feeling renewed and rejuvenated and full of possibility.
Right.
I think that that's a great time for an album to come out because albums should contribute to all of those feelings, especially the fall. For me, the fall is a time when you get really motivated and full of new energy. So I think that's always a good time to release a record. And that's why this one's coming out September 9th.
All right. Fall and winter are probably my favorite seasons just because I'm a cold guy. I like the cold. The only thing about
me too.
The only thing about San Antonio is it's hot, 3.5 seasons out of the year. So I miss seasons basically.
Seasons are great. Yeah. I've never lived in a place without seasons, so I got to do that. I got to experience that. But I do love seasons. They inspire me.
Yeah. No,
changing seasons, it's like you feel like you can change.
Exactly. I miss watching the leaves change on trees in the fall time. I don't get that here. It just gets. I've worn shorts and sandals all year so far.
Wow.
And I'm not complaining because it is nice wearing shorts and sandals, in the winter when it gets up to 60.
Yeah.
Or as low as 60, I should say.
Well, hey, anytime you need some seasons, you just head to the coast, right?
Yes. Yeah. But for the people at home who would like to keep in contact with you and, of course, pick up the new album, where can they do that?
Okay. Well, the new album will be out September 9th. It's called All I Know. It'll be on iTunes and Amazon and all those places, Bandcamp. But in the meantime, you can go to my website, AlejandraO'Leary.com. You can go to Facebook and find me, Alejandra O'Leary and the Champions of the West, and Twitter and all those places. You can also just go to my website and send me an email and I'll write you back.
There we go.
Don't be a stranger. I'm very I like communicating with people. I like hearing from people.
Well, right on. And I had this thought. So the last time we talked, I released the episode July 31st.
So, yeah, I remember that. I remember exactly where I was when we spoke because
yeah, you were chilling outside, enjoying the summer life.
Yeah, and I think we had just played we were just about to play our CD release show.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I thought it'd be cool to release this episode exactly 1 year later.
Love it.
So look for that, everyone.
Okay, I will.
Everyone will know. I'll tell everyone.
That's great. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. And you have fun with the little bebe.
I will. And I hope you enjoy the music and enjoy the rest of life, staying up late, getting 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah, the non-baby life. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll enjoy it for the both of us, all right?
Okay, that sounds like a plan.
All right. Okay, well, you have a wonderful day, okay?
Yeah, you too. It's always great talking to you.
Likewise.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.